Hello and welcome to Morning Brew with me, Graham Hughes. Hope you're all right this morning. Oh, my Graham Hughes button has moved. Why did I move that? I don't know. I have no idea. How you all doing out there in internet land? Just one second. Apologies for the incredible lateness of the start of the show today. I'm really not well. I might have to cut this short, depending on how I'm feeling, but I'm really under the weather. Yes, this isn't me at my top. If anyone stayed with the 65 and a half hour live stream, they might have already experienced Graham in this mode that I'm in at the moment. But what I'm going to try and do is finish the show relatively early today and then get some sleep and take some medicine and hopefully feel better because we're going to be doing the Makerfield by-election results as they come in. Tonight, so that should be fun. That should be a lot of fun. Anyway, who we got in the chat? We got Elle, we got Lost Missionary, we got Veg Pie. We got some dickhead called Graham David Hughes, whoever that is, saying he's going to be late. I didn't get to share yesterday, but I wrote another 1,000 words, up to 22,000 of novel now. That is fantastic, Gallifrey, man. That is absolutely brilliant. I love that you're getting on with it. Absolutely fantastic. Martin Hauer is in the chat as well. We've also got Diz. Obviously, Diz. Hi, Diz. If you'd like to join our friendly friends in the friendly chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button and wait for a minute. So I didn't put what we were going to be talking about on the show this morning into the blurb like I normally do, into the description. We're going to be talking about the US-Iran deal, a deal of the century, the 14-point plan. And Hawaii the Burnham. Yeah, I was thinking about talking about what might happen in Makerfield today. It's the Makerfield by-election, Andy Burnham standing against Robert Kenyon, who's some guy that Nigel Farage dug up. He's not a nice person, He's not a good one. He says some really horrific things about women, and he thinks that abortion should be banned. So yeah, not great, not the best. SG, hi Graham, hugs. Oh, thank you very much. Hope you feel better soon. So do I, my friend. So do I. Trump surrender deal. Someone pointed out that Pete Hegseth, he how did they put that? Let me read this because it's funny. They said they were talking about Pete Hegseth, and they said renames it to the Department of War, names himself the Secretary of War, fights one war, losers. Yeah, that about sums it up. So the US and Iran have agreed a 14-point memorandum of understanding, and it's not a final peace treaty. It is only a temporary framework designed to create a 60-day window for a final agreement. I'm surprised it's not 2 weeks. The deal aims to end military operations, reopen commercial traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, and lift immediate pressure on oil markets and start broader talks. The text is under 800 words. Just not comprehensive in any one stretch of the imagination. I mean, 800 words is like what you're set to do an essay. How many words you got to write for an essay for, in year 7? It's which for the reading age of Trump and the people who support him, I suppose that's about right. But it does leave major questions unresolved. And the biggest unresolved issue is Iran's nuclear program. The MOU says that Iran will not procure or develop nuclear weapons, but pushes the detail into later talks. Now, what Trump went into this with was like this absolute thing of like, you can't have any nuclear enriched material at all. And you need a little bit to make nuclear power. And that's what Iran wanted. They wanted to be able to enrich it to, like, I don't know, it's really low. It's something like 3.7%. I'm sure Paula's going to correct me in the text here, but in the chat, but it's about 3.7%. It's like really, really low levels of enrichment to be used in a nuclear power station. But if you want to enrich it to be a bomb, it goes up to something ridiculous like 80% enrichment. And so under the Obama deal, they had a level of enrichment that they were allowed to get up to, which would allow them to do nuclear power, but obviously they wouldn't be able to put the material together to make a nuclear bomb. And Trump got rid of that deal the first year he was in. He was in as president of the United States, and the first time, and he hasn't replaced it with anything. So the Iranians were like, okay, then we'll just enrich some uranium then, shall we? And then Trump went into this saying, you've got to have no enriched uranium at all. And the Iranians have just gone, well, we need a bit for power and shit. And he's like, no, you can't have any at all. And it's like, okay. And then they discovered something called the Strait of Hormuz. Actually, yeah, just between you and me, I think the Iranians knew about the Strait of Hormuz a long time ago. Just the rest of the world was just a bit slow catching up on that little choke point, Certain places in the world, Strait of Malacca, the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, Strait of Hormuz, the Bosphorus going through Turkey, absolutely critical waterways that are controlled by a country. Or two countries, in some cases. But yeah, good luck getting around that one. And once again, as with so many things in life, when it comes to politics, whatever these dickheads want to do, and let's not make any bones about it, these people are dickheads. They are absolute cockwombles, like thickos of the nth dimension. Whatever they want to do is usually scuppered by geography. Or another way of putting it, reality. The actual world in which we actually bloody live. So yeah, the Strait of Hormuz is supposed to reopen immediately to commercial shipping. Iran agrees to make arrangements for safe passage for commercial vehicles for the next vessels for the next 60 days. Iran has agreed to restore vessel traffic to pre-war levels within 30 days, and it says it will remove technical and military obstacles, including demining the area. Iran has also agreed to maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program during the interim period, i.e. not getting rid of its nukes. So immediately, Iran gets the US has agreed to begin removing its naval blockade against Iran as soon as the MOU is signed. The blockade is supposed to be fully ended within 30 days. The US Treasury is expected to issue waivers for Iranian crude oil, petroleum products, and related services. And these waivers, they cover other stuff that you might not be thinking of, like banking and insurance, transport and stuff like that, which is needed in order to start selling oil internationally. Now, don't forget, there's been sanctions against Iran for years, and it hasn't been able to sell its oil on the global market in the same way that other countries have been able to. So this is a huge win for Iran. This is an absolutely huge win. And then there's the frozen or restricted Iranian funds that are going to be made available through procedures during the negotiations. But we'll come back to this because the money side of this is just flabbergasting. It genuinely is. So if the MOU is signed by both sides by today or tomorrow, the 60-day deadline will fall around the 18th of August. 2026, but that deadline can be extended by mutual consent. The final agreement is supposed to settle the issues of sanctions, nuclear issues, financing, monitoring, and the long-term agreement of how the Strait of Hormuz is used. Article 13 says negotiations on the final deal begin only after the implementation starts on the blockade, shipping, oil waivers, and frozen funds for Iran. This reads very much like a hostage negotiation. It really does. And And the basically the sequencing of it means that Iran benefits before anything settles, or the hardest issues. The point that Trump was trying to make when he started attacking Iran was they've got nuclear material. They're doing nothing about the nuclear material until after everything, until Iran is given everything it wants. It's just fucking insane. Andy says, pet theory, Iran noticed the American obsession with decapitation strikes and interrupting communications, so they had a set of orders laid down and distributed probably on paper. Maybe. Hegseth was told to get an IQ test, so he joined the line outside an optician. Yes. I mean, he's a rapist as well, that man. He's a fucking disgusting human being. He should be in fucking jail. All of these fuckers should be in jail. So anyway, the obviously the Strait of Hormuz, as we've discovered together, my friends, is one of the world's most important oil shipping routes, and Iran appears to have used the strait as leverage in this whole thing, and the memorandum of understanding, this 14-point deal, grants toll-free passage only for the 60-day interim period, unless it's extended. Iran and Oman and the other Gulf states are supposed to discuss future administration with maritime services on the strait, because obviously Iran and Oman and the other Gulf states are all have a vested interest in keeping that waterway open. And the wording leaves the possibility of future fees for using the strait, so new rules for vessels using the route. Now, if any fees are collected, they're going to go to, they're definitely going to go to Iran. They might go to Oman as well, which has the bit of land, the little exclave that's opposite Iran. Opposite Iran's part of the, Iran, I guess, on the opposite shore, the opposite bank of the Strait of Hormuz. They decide to start charging vessels money. That's another win for Iran. It's going to have a huge income that it never had before. Now, I think that the Bosphorus and the Dardanelles, when you're going through Turkey into the Black Sea, there's no charge for that. It's technically kind of international waters, but there's a thing called the Montreal Agreement or something from the 1970s. It's from like the height of the Cold War, and it said that military vessels cannot use that strait. Turkey doesn't extract tolls for ships using that strait, but Turkey are currently building a canal which gets around the Montreal Convention, and also they'll probably start charging ships to go through it. Just to give some example of like how lucrative it is for places like Panama and Egypt to have these canals. The Panama Canal was given back to the Panamanian people, the country of Panama, from America in 1999. And its revenue, I'm just going to look it up per year. Its revenue currently is $5.7 billion from the canal. $5.7 billion. GDP. So as a percentage of GDP, it accounts for up to 6% of Panama's total GDP. Don't forget, Panama's only a country of like 3 million people. It's not a big country by any stretch of the imagination. Suez Canal revenue. Let's look it up. Let's Google together. Let's Google with Graham Hughes. Revenue. Oh wow. It earned $449 million in the first month and a half of 2026. That's not even the whole year. That's just the first month and a half. In 2023, they earned $10.3 billion. And this isn't meme stock. This isn't, Elon Musk, NFT. funny money. This is real, genuine, actual cash in the hands of the governments of Egypt and Panama, respectively, because they've got a waterway that everyone needs to use, and they charge a toll for using it. Ship I was on when I was traveling on the Odyssey expedition, I took it from Djibouti City, the capital of Djibouti, and it went up through the Red Sea to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and then to Suez in Egypt. And we were a day late getting in to Suez, and we were charged an extra 20. Well, I wasn't charged, but the shipping company was charged an extra $27,000 on top of what it had already paid to traverse the Suez Canal. It gives you some idea of how lucrative it is to, have a waterway that you can call your own. What does the upship of a shipping canal costs annually? Well, the Suez Canal, not as much, but the Panama Canal, the cost is fairly high just because of the locks involved. It's got locks going up to Lake Gatun in the mountains there in Panama, and then it's got locks coming back down. The new locks at Miraflores were built just 10 years ago, and they were really, really, really expensive, but absolutely necessary because they saved a lot of water. One of the big problems they've got with the Panama Canal right now is because of global warming and because of these really dry periods that we're having in places like Panama, which is technically a rainforest. We should just be getting loads and loads of rain there all the freaking time. It means that every time the locks open, they let out loads of water into the sea, and they're gonna have to find some way of pumping the water back up or something. I don't know how they're gonna do it from an engineering point of view, but they're gonna have to find a way to saving water. At the moment, they're letting fewer ships go through and charging them more. But again, it is either you can either go through the Suez Canal or go around the whole of Africa. You can either go through the Panama Canal or go around the whole of South America, which is incredibly dangerous, by the way. We're at the point where the Pacific meets the Arctic. Pacific meets the Atlantic. The sea level of the Pacific is slightly different level to the sea level of the Atlantic. So there's a bit of a step, not a literal step, but the water gets quite churned up around the area. If anyone's ever taken a cargo ship through the Bass Strait one morning, it feels like being in this is the little bit of water between mainland Australia and Tasmania. It's like being in a washing machine. It's just like, oh my God. And it's a point where two waters are coming together. You've got the Pacific in the Bass Strait, you've got the Pacific, and you've got the Indian Ocean, effectively. And the Southern Ocean, I suppose, are all coming together. So if people in that city decide to go and sell some old Tatterfield, is that a car Djibouti sale? Yes, very good. I like that. I went out to a strip club and I said, shake your Djibouti. Anyway, I reckon the Panama Canal would be more expensive to maintain as it's smaller and therefore should silt up a lot quicker, requiring more dredging. Yeah, that's true as well. And also, the Suez Canal has no locks. The Suez Canal is at sea level, yeah, so there is going to be less maintenance. Not no maintenance at all. Obviously, these things need to be maintained. They need to be dredged. Need to be looked after. Any kind of human-made water canal. Apparently, there's a new shipping canal that's going to be built through France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, connecting up to Germany. I think there's a new mega project that's going on or been proposed in. Oh no, I think they've started building it. There's like a mega canal coming to the EU. You should have looked it up. Should have looked it up instead of just saying vagaries and saying EU mega canal. There we go. Europe's most ambitious canal in a century is taking place. The Seine Nord Europe Canal, it's called. It's a planned high-capacity canal in France. Completion is expected in 2040. 32. Oh, okay. No, that wasn't the one I was thinking of. The Edgewater one. Oh, it is? Okay, fine. Fair enough. Ascend Nord Canal in northern France, world's largest construction project of its kind on the continent. When complete, the 7.3 billion euro waterway will connect France to Belgium, the Netherlands, and beyond, giving the country access to major northern European ports of Rotterdam, Antwerp, and Hamburg for the first time. There you go. The barges and boats can carry a lot of freight. A single vessel can fit the cargo equivalent of 220 trucks. And France has 8,500 kilometers of navigable waterways, the largest network on the continent. But the waterways don't connect well with neighboring countries. This leaves the French companies without direct water access to major ports that drive continental and overseas trade. So there you go. This is designed to close the gap. That's quite cool, isn't it? It's going to be a 107-kilometer channel, and it must accommodate vessels up to 400 metric tons. I love the expression metric tons. It's only made better if you put the word fuck in the middle of it, so it becomes 4,000 metric fuck tons. Sounds so good. We are making a new canal, but to save on wear and tear and shipping, we'll be going overland. Do you know there's a famous Saudi prince known for his dancing, Sheikh Yabadi? Shake your body. Shake your body. I like it. I like the Guru one when they insured the English Channel against fire based on an insane war plan. Okay, so yeah, just getting back to the Strait of Hormuz. Sorry, we got a little bit sidetracked there, talking about different geographical features of the planet that make one country have a little bit of power over ships going through that whole continent. In the case of the Suez Canal and the Panama Canal, certainly. So they might get fees. Iran seems like it's getting everything it wants. It looks like it's still going to be able to make nuclear power and enrich nuclear stuff to a certain level. They'd already agreed to that under Obama. But this time, they're not only looking like they're going to get some tolls for ships going through the Strait of Hormuz, it gets even better for them. The MOU includes a proposed reconstruction and economic development plan worth at least $300 billion. I mean, okay. All right. Did America win this war? Did they? The mechanism for that $300 billion is supposed to be finalized in the final agreement. Trump says the money will come from regional partners and private financing, not US taxpayers. Oh, Chinny wreck on. Oh, Jimmy Hill. Iran has reportedly demanded access to $22 billion before the deal will be signed. Analysts cited the CNN material estimate that Iran's frozen assets could be between 124 billion and 167 billion. How much frozen assets did Obama give back to Iran? Iran's frozen assets. Almost 2 billion of Iran's assets. Just to make sure that I was getting the right figure. So just to put this number, this 300 billion in context, under the Obama plan, $1.7 billion of frozen assets that were already Iran's were given back to them. 1.7 billion. And now you're talking about 300 billion that's going to be paid for by American taxpayers, probably, but also taxpayers, if they pay any tax, the rulers of the GCC countries, the countries in the Arabian Peninsula, excluding Yemen, because they're a bit out of the loop at the moment with everything that's going down. I mean, that is nuts, isn't it? That is absolutely nuts. So, like, even if you want to say they've got maybe 167 billion in frozen assets that you're going to be unfreezing. Where's the rest of the money coming from? It's coming from other countries that are paying for this, that are paying Iran. Had Iran not been attacked by Donald Trump, this wouldn't have happened. Iran makes about 50% of its government revenue from oil sales. And so they reckon that if there was sanctions relief, Iran could sell around 2 million barrels of oil a day. So they're getting to sell the oil for the first time in years. They're getting to enrich uranium to a certain level, by the looks of things, and they'll probably allow inspectors because they don't care. I mean, I don't even think they want it, a nuclear weapon. They've got a better thing than a nuclear weapon. They've got the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to get this 300 billion, sorry, with a B, 300 billion. And also, the Iranian government now is stronger domestically than ever. At the beginning of this year, there was big protests against the Iranian government. I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. This is what happens when you put dickheads in power. This is what happens when you put dickheads in positions of power. So Iran makes around 50% of its government's its revenue from government revenue from oil sales. So that's taxes coming off the oil sales. It's nationalized in Iran, which is one of the reasons why it's been a pariah for so many years. That and the fact that the governments are a bit shit, but they're not alone in having a bit of a shit government, are they, America? I mean, just any country. But yeah, the Iran would no longer need to rely as heavily on discounted shadow fleet exports to China, and they apparently exported 3.8 billion barrels this week after the US through the Strait of Hormuz this week after the US agreed to end the blockade. So that's and that could go up to 14 million very quickly. So we talk about sanctions relief. The Article 7 of this memorandum commits the US to negotiate the termination of all types of sanctions against Iran. The text includes UN Security Council resolutions, the IAEA Board of Governor resolutions, unilateral US sanctions, primary sanctions, and secondary sanctions. This goes further than Obama's deal, which focused on nuclear-related secondary sanctions. The wording could cover sanctions linked to terrorism, missiles, drones, human rights abuses, weapons proliferation. And, I mean, can Congress? Is Congress going to have a role in approving this? I mean, I know Trump holds quite a sway over the Republicans, but oh my God. This goes beyond just your standard, we lost the war, humiliation. I mean, this whole thing, it's like the Treaty of Versailles for Germany all over again. It's like, oh my God, how utterly humiliating. I mean, imagine being American right now. You'd put your head down, wouldn't you? Tell everyone you were Canadian or Mexican or anywhere but American. You're just like trying to affect a Dudley accent and pretend that you're from Birmingham. Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you tell anyone you're American right now? It's so embarrassing. Look at what they've done with the fucking pool, the reflecting pool. I think the reflecting pool is such a beautiful metaphor for what is going on in America right now. They drained the pool. They painted it blue. The guys who they got to do that, I mean, it's supposed to be cost about $2 million. It ended up costing 14. And it was like Trump's mates who he gave the contract to. It wasn't someone who had any kind of operational experience of doing something like this. They just worked with swimming pools. And this massive artificial lake, which is what it is, or artificial massive paddling pool, is just they painted it. And then one of the things that that scientists said is if you paint it blue, then it's going to absorb more heat. If anything, they should have painted it white. And it meant that the algae bloom just came back with a vengeance. Also, they were using water from the Potomac River, which is really alkali because of all of the shit that's pumped into it further upstream from all the different industrial shit that they have in America. But then they poured hydrogen peroxide in, and we started seeing news footage, like news pictures of this this rectangle that was like green in the middle, but they're like a border around it of 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 um blue, where they have put like a jug of hydrogen peroxide in the. They poured it from the edge. They put a jug of hydrogen peroxide in the water. So the hydrogen peroxide is now killing the ducks in the water because it's bleach. It's bleach. It will kill them. But more than that, it's around the edges. It hasn't gone in the middle. But do you know what hydrogen peroxide does to the paint? Do you know what it does to paint? Because it's a bubble. I mean, it's not a particularly great paint stripper. But if you throw a bucket of hydrogen peroxide against a wall and come back the next day, you will notice a painted wall. You will notice the next day. There will be, there'll be bubbling on the paint. There's a very, very good chance that Trump's blue bottom, that's a disgusting image, isn't it? It's going to peel off. It's going to bubble off. I mean, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. No doubt they were illegal immigrant ducks. Yeah, indeed. I have one reflecting septic tank. A reflecting septic tank. Yeah, I've been looking at it going, well, at least it's not brown, eh? At least it's not brown. Simon Smith has pointed about the Lancet News. I posted about that this morning on on Facebook. Risk of cervical cancer death before 30 close to zero after HPV vaccine, and that is so remarkable. And my sister died of cervical cancer, and if this had been around 50 years ago, she'll still be with us. And I just want to say to any anti-vaxxers out there, fuck you, anti-vaxxers. Fuck you. And the horse you rode in on to the edge of the universe, and then fuck you some more. I'm having my breakfast. I don't want to think about fast blue bottom. Isn't there like a type of baboon, like the blue-bottomed baboon? Is that a thing? Have I just made that up? Or is that a blue-footed booby? Andy says, I redid the US flag, mucky green rather than blue, Trump orange rather than red. In next week's news, Trump declares the Statue of Liberty isn't gold enough. Well, yeah. So talking about the Statue of Liberty, News Thump put out a story today saying that as part of the deal with Iran, he was going to be giving them the Statue of Liberty. It was a great deal. Flump signed it in France. He did. Yeah, he did sign it in France, didn't he? Were they actually at Versailles? Where was the G7 summit being held? God, it'd be funny if it was in Versailles. I don't think it was. G7 summit location. No, it was Ivan Le Bon. Ivan Le Bon. I don't know why you have to write that in capitals, but whatever. It's a commune in France. What, like a hippie commune? Oh, it's lovely. Oh, isn't it nice? Just have a look at the. Oh no, go. I want to see the maps. Oh, it's on the coast. Oh no, it's not. I look at it. I look at the map, and I've got like a little tiny map on Google comes up, and then you click on the map, and it gets bigger. It looks like it's on the coast, but it's not. It's on a lake. It's on a lake, my friends. It's on a lake. Ivan Le Bon. It's on Lake Leman. Lake Leman, which is shaped a bit like a fish, which is quite cool. Near Geneva. It's near Geneva. It's obviously in Switzerland. So hang on. If that's Geneva, surely that's Lake Geneva. What are you talking? Does France call Lake Geneva Lake Leman? I'm intrigued now. I'm gonna Google that as well. Googling with Graham Hughes. Lake. No, you need to write the name of the lake, Graham. Lake Geneva. Lake Geneva. Lake Geneva. Switzerland and France. Okay. It should say here that it's called Lake Limon. Where does it say that? Ah, there you go. Yeah. Liman. Liman. Yeah, in French it's called Liman. But in ours it's Geneva. So it's the Frenchy side of Lake Geneva, which forms part of the border between Switzerland and France. So there you go. The French call it that, yes, says Mr. Tusk. Ivan near Geneva. They went to Versailles later. Ivan is a scam, and the manufacturers know it. Read it backwards, and it makes the word naive. This is very true. Bottled water, Peckham water. Okay. So, moving on to where are we going? We're talking about Iran, weren't we? So I got a little bit sidetracked there, as we often do on this show. You don't mind, do you? You don't mind. By the way, we got the goal. Should I change the goal? Should I just make it one super chat for the show, and I'll release the confetti. Peckham Spring. So yes, so there's going to be sanctions relief, and it's going to have to be ratified by the US Congress. Now, here's something interesting. One of the problems with the Treaty of Versailles, it was never ratified by the Americans. It was signed by the then American president, which was, I don't know, Woodrow Wilson or someone. They had like 3 presidents in a row that were named after superhero alter egos. You had Calvin Coolidge, you had Woodrow Wilson, and you had Herbert Hoover. Nice bit of alliteration there, isn't it? Breaking news about the Moscow drone attacks. Yeah, Moscow's been hit by more drones by Ukraine. Hey, listen. Just a live lesson in there, man. Just don't bite off more than you can chew. So yeah, Iran has reaffirmed that it will not procure or develop nuclear weapons, which I don't think it was going to do anyway. It doesn't really care. It's got the Strait of Hormuz, doesn't need it. This is not a new Iranian commitment because Iran is already a signatory to NATO's nuclear non-proliferation treaty. The Obama deal, the JCPOA, used stronger wording. Iran said that it would under no circumstances seek, develop, or acquire nuclear weapons. The MOU, Trump's deal, does not require Iran to abandon nuclear power, and the enrichment material issue is deferred to a future mechanism. So yeah, Trump tore up Obama's deal in his first term. It contained more detailed restrictions on Iran's nuclear activity than this MOU does. It did not offer a $300 billion reconstruction framework. It did not lift every category of sanction on Iran. Trump is now accepting a vaguer nuclear pledge while offering broader economic concessions. And Trump said in France that he didn't want to see an economic catastrophe. Trump is an economic catastrophe. You know, he had that fight on the lawn of the White House on Sunday, right? You know, it was like all sponsored, or it was all to raise money for his own companies. You know that, right? They're like using it to advertise like his Trump coin and a World Finance Trump International, which is run by his family and him. His Trump crime family. I just, he's so brazen about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like saying to someone you're a bully and them going, yeah, and it makes them more of a bully because they're like, yeah, I'm going to wear that as a badge of pride. Oh dear, never mind, Moscow. Fuck around, find out. Yeah. The Ukrainians actually hit the same oil refinery that they hit like a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it's pretty brutal, and I think it's like somewhere where it's like 50% of all Russian oil is processed. Yeah. Okay, so Trump said the markets rose whenever peace with Iran looked possible and fell when the war headlines worsened. Yes, Donald, that's you manipulating the market, giving your friends a heads up beforehand, giving your family a heads up. Hey, Ivanka, put some money on this horse. I've shot all the others. The war pushed, obviously pushed up petrol prices everywhere, worsened international pressure, inflation pressure. Sorry, international inflation pressure, and Trump's approval ratings have fallen a little bit. I'm sorry. There's so many fucking videos online about Trump's approval ratings, and they go down like a tenth of an inch. And they're like, "Oh my God, he's destroyed. He's over. He's never coming back from this." I heard all this back in 2020. Yeah, he did come back. Trump previously demanded unconditional surrender from Iran. This is like the opposite of unconditional surrender. This is like as opposite as you could possibly get. He said he would go back to dropping bombs in Iran if he disliked its future behavior, which kind of clashes with the first clause of the MOU. And then the regime change part of it has been abandoned as well. Article 2 commits the US and Iran to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The same article says both sides must refrain from interfering with each other's internal affairs. Early in the war, Trump told Iranians that the moment of freedom from the regime was at hand. So that's disappeared now, isn't it? And then we've got Israel and Hezbollah, which you need to mention. Refers to the Article 1 refers to US, Iran, and their allies. Does not explicitly name Israel or Hezbollah, but the MOU claims to terminate military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, where Hezbollah are operating in the south of the country and Israel are invading in the south of the country to take out Hezbollah, which apparently were already taken out. They were taken out a few years ago. With pager bombs. They put little bombs in pagers, killed loads of people. And they said, that's it, no more Hezbollah. But there is. Hezbollah is not required by name to disarm or to withdraw or to stop attacks on Israel. And, ending the war in Lebanon really now depends on Israel and whether the US can strong arm Israel into doing what they want them to do. Because Trump keeps saying to Netanyahu, can you stop bombing Lebanon, please? And Netanyahu's like, yeah, whatever. And then the next day he bombs them again. And then J.D. Vance has been running around this week, like trying to, clean up Trump's mess, which is a disgusting job at the best of times. And he told CNN's Jake Tapper that Iran must stop funding violent organizations. And I'm just sitting there thinking, how many violent organizations does America fund? I mean, the American police, the American Navy, the American Air Force, the American Army. They're pretty fucking violent. And that interpretation is not written in the 14 points memorandum. Neither's Iran stopping funding regional instability. It's not in there. It's not in the deal. It should be, but it's not. The MOU contains no explicit commitments to stop backing Hezbollah or Hamas or the Houthi rebels in Yemen. It's got no clear language on Iran missile or drone activity. It's very simplistic. Why is it very simplistic? Because Trump can't read. Like he's fucking thick as pig shit. He couldn't read. That's why his idea of a trade deal is just like a blanket tariff, and I'll lift the tariff if you do as I say. That's his idea of a deal. Real trade deals and peace deals are complex. They take a lot of time and a lot of negotiation. Think about the peace deal that led to the Great Good Friday Agreement. Think about the peace deal that ended up with the ending of apartheid in South Africa. Think about that. But yeah, the MOU gives Iran pretty much everything it's demanded in the past, and pretty much everything. It's wanted. It's never got this much before. And then we've got like the immediate concessions now, and then the final deal later. And he argues that Iran gets tens of billions in exchange for reopening a strait that was open before the war. So this is Brett McGurk writing for CNN. He served in senior national security roles under George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. He says that the US has made a comprehensive final deal harder by giving so much relief at the outset, by giving them everything they wanted at the outset. So there's going to be nothing left to negotiate. I remember Britain, negotiating a similar thing with the EU. We went, yeah, we'll do everything you want. Captain Coconut, you're totally right, Graham, about the market manipulation. His stock trading deals were released last week, and it's damning. He's been doing it as soon as he got into office. Of course, he's only the president for his own ego and to make money. It's not for the American people. I did read that in medieval Germany, says Andy, they would put the mayor. They would weigh the mayor when he went to office and weighed him after. He put weight on, decides it was corruption. Do that with a bank account. Well, Trump is corrupt as fuck, isn't he? Trump said, if the deal is good, he'll take the credit, but if it's bad, he won't put his name to it. Fortunately, I know where his name appears 38,000 times. Yes, in the Epstein files. He did it last. Vance got roasted on The View promoting his new book. Not really this week, is it? Yeah, he's on the View with Whoopi Goldberg and others, and they absolutely rinsed him. You've got to see some clips of this. So just look up JD Vance on The View. It's secondhand embarrassment and all that. He's just a tit. He just is an absolute tit. No week should be Vance's week. Yeah, Vance was distracted by the sexy chairs. The economic impact inside Iran. Iran's Navy and Air Force are described as been badly damaged by months of war by various journalists, news outlets looking into it. The US and Israeli strikes reportedly hit steel plants, petrochemical facilities, other infrastructure. And the Iranian authorities are claiming damage of $270 billion. And that number's not been independently confirmed, but that's why they're asking for $300 billion. I suppose they're going to use the other $30 billion left over to just have a big party. Iran's inflation has averaged over 50% in the past 12 months, and food inflation is over 100%. So, while the Iranian government is doing very well out of this, we need to spare a thought for the Iranian people who are not doing well out of this, who have been, just thrown from pillar to post by their own administration, by the Trump administration, by Israel fucking bombing shit. Just, there's also in Iran itself, the government shit. It's corrupt. It's mismanages stuff. These funds that are being given to Iran as part of this deal, if it goes ahead, is like, it's going to go to the government. It's just a bribe for the people in the government. The regular households aren't going to see shit. Foreign banks, might not want to get involved in this unless the US Treasury licenses are clear and durable. And the Iranian people could see very limited relief if the money is directed to security services, proxies, elite networks, the army, the Republican Guard, or whatever the fuck it's called. And this all comes down onto the fact that Trump is not a deal maker. He likes to portray himself as a deal maker, and he absolutely isn't. He's awful at it. He's so shit at it. It is, if you can just take a step back from the horror of it all, he's fucking shit at this. This is his thing. This is like the equivalent of me going on a quiz and not knowing the capital of France. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how could I be so shit at that when I'm the person who went to every country in the world without flying? How? That's my thing. That's my thing. How can I be bad at that? Or like Femi not knowing anything about Brexit. Or, Hannah Fry not knowing anything about basic science. You'd be like, but this is your thing. This is like David Attenborough not knowing anything about the natural world. Not knowing what a chicken is. And you're like, you're kidding me. You don't know what a chicken is? No, I've never seen one of them before. Wow, Ivan, thank you so much for the £20 super chat. That is really kind. I'm really struggling more again. I feel some people are against me when I don't follow a set path within the group. I will be glad when today and tomorrow is over, but it won't be the end of it. Samaritans might be called again. Ivan, again, like I talk about when you talk about your struggles, like this show and stuff on the internet is nowhere near as important as your mental health, as your health, right? And your physical health as well, for that matter. And whatever is going on in the world, there is stuff that you can make a difference to. But if you're just having a look every day, as you've proven in what's, your push for more understanding in Parliament and in future policies in Parliament for people who are autistic, and that's fantastic. But a lot of this stuff we can't do fuck all about it. All we can do really is just look at it and go, yeah, that's a bit shit, or make a joke about it, which is what I do to get through. Because you gotta laugh. I mean, fucking hell, Trump is so shit at this. We could just go through examples of just like, all these people who are famous for something. Like, this is like Neil Armstrong not knowing what the moon is. That's how shit Trump is at being a deal maker. But yeah, Ivan, your mental health's got to come first, mate. And if you're feeling like you're not connecting, or you're feeling like you can't affect a difference, and I know that is a huge thing for a lot of people. It affects me as well, to be honest with you. You're seeing all this shit going on, and there's like fuck all we can do about it, and it's disempowering. But we do what we can, and if you have to step back and watch some other channels, or just give social media a swerve for a little while for the sake of your own health, please. And I'm not just saying this to Ivan, I'm saying this to everyone watching. Just give it a swerve and concentrate on feeling better. Things will shake out. They always do. We go on about this, but like Trump getting re-elected is like the worst thing that ever happened to the fucking planet. But in some ways, we're getting closer to the EU than ever before. Well, we have not ever before, but than we have been since the Brexit vote 10 years ago. We are, which is a good thing. And also the around the world, because of what Trump's done in Iran, countries are moving way, way faster towards renewables because they just don't want to be reliant on oil and gas for the rest of the time, when that is so unstable. We had this huge instability just a few years ago when Russia invaded Ukraine, and now we're seeing it again with the Strait of Hormuz being closed and petrol prices going through the roof. And we don't want that. We don't want that. Thank you very much to Saz for the £5 pick me up. Thank you very much, Saz. That is really, really kind of you. I really appreciate that. And like I said, I'm not feeling particularly grand this morning. So thanks very much for that. I will have to wrap up soon, I think. But yeah, thank you so much, Saz. That is very, very generous. If you missed the beginning of the show, I feel like shit today. It's the reason why I started a bit late. I'm a bit under the weather. I'm a bit under the weather. Trump is a stupid man who's cosplaying as a mafia boss because he saw The Sopranos. Yeah. Won't the 300 billion need to get through Congress and the Senate? Yes. Yeah. Pale moon. Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, good luck with that. But then again, the Treaty of Versailles never ratified. But then again, I mean, the Treaty of Versailles being ratified by the Americans was less important, I suppose, in the greater scheme of things, because America didn't start the war in that case. Having a laugh and taking the piss is my way of dealing with bad stuff. I was laughing and joking at my mum's funeral, which probably looked weird to watchers, but it was my way of not breaking down. Yeah, Lee, mate, sending hugs, mate, sending hugs. Yeah, absolutely. I get that. You often get that with doctors and people who work with life and death every day. You've got to sort of take a step back and just morbid humor is always welcome in situations like that. Um, isn't there a famous philosophy thing? Let me change the things I can and not the things I can't, and let me know the difference. Yeah, something like that. I think that isn't that like for alcoholics or something? Isn't that what they say when you do the 12 step thing for alcoholism? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. A Burnham win will cheer you up, Graham. Yes, it certainly will. And then hopefully Burnham will um, take on Keir Starmer, and Labour might start getting a bit more popular again, because at the end of the day, Labour's not a pressure group. You know, they're not a charity. They're not out. They're not a lobby group. They're not in 55 Tufton Street, beaving away at the next, the next wizard wheeze to divide society. They're a political party. And political parties exist for one reason, and that is to form a government. And if you can't form a government with you know, your peeps, then you're not a political party. You're just kind of an annoyance, to be honest with you. And I can't see Keir Starmer winning the next election if he stays on as leader. I can't see Labour winning the next election if Keir Starmer stays on. He's just too unpopular. And you know what? I don't hate him. I really don't. I know there's some trans people on here who will get very upset about, me saying this probably, but I don't hate him. I don't think he's the spawn of evil. Spawn of Satan or anything. In some ways, I kind of feel a bit sorry for him because he's not a politician and he's not good at it. And for me, I don't know, you know when you see someone who's like really bad at stand-up comedy and they get up on stage and you just cringe so badly that you put your back out? He's a bit like that for me. And all I could do is like feel sorry for him. I just feel like the secondhand embarrassment for him that he's so shit at being a politician. I don't think, I think I honestly think he's a decent man, but and he did do an amazing job, an absolutely amazing job. Don't get me wrong, of turning Labour around. I swear, in December 2019, me and other former members at that point of Labour were like, this is the Tories in for the next 10 years. We thought we were going to get Boris Johnson in for the next 10 years. Because it would take that long to get Labour back on its feet. And I know a lot of people voted against the Tories in the last election. And people pull up on that. But you've also got to take into account the fact that people weren't scared off from voting for Labour. And you've got to get Middle England on board. I keep saying this. The Tories have to as well. I'm not that concerned about Refuck getting in because I don't think they will. They don't have the spread of support across the country. Like there are areas that are just absolutely anti Refuck, and they will vote strategically, tactically to keep Refuck out. But what you need to win an election in our current first past the post, 650 constituencies, you need to get at least 40% in each one of those constituencies. And that's what he managed to do. That's what Keir Starmer managed to do. I know overall he didn't get as many votes as the previous guy, but it mattered more that he got more votes in more areas across the country. And therefore, there are more areas now being represented by a Labour MP. But I just got to the point where I've said before that I didn't want Starmer to go straight away. I thought he should cling on for another couple of years and get all the shit like thrown at him, and then Burnham could come in after he wasn't mayor anymore in 2028 and lead Labour to a big victory, because it's while he's still in his honeymoon period of being leader. Oh wow, we've got a new PM. That's exciting. But unfortunately, that's not the way it worked out. But don't forget, like Boris Johnson, he was only prime minister for a few months before he won the 2019 election with an 80-seat majority. So, I think that that old adage from Batman, where he says, "You either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain," and that's very, very true in politics. And I think that maybe with Burnham coming in so early, it might not work out in the end. But let me be happily surprised, I guess. But yeah, I do think Starmer's got to go at this point. Make all toilets universal by law. Problem solved. Yeah, Andy, this is brilliant. Like, mate, all of these venues, all of these pubs and restaurants and cinemas and theatres and all these public places, they're just taking the signs off the doors. They've got a choice of this new guidance from the Equalities and Human Rights Commission. They've got this choice, right? They can either spend 30 grand putting a new fucking toilet, right, into their premises, taking away precious floor space from what could be, restaurant tables or whatever, taken away, from that to build an extra toilet. Or you can take the signs off the door. Just take the signs off the fucking door. That's what they've done. Just put toilet. I've seen signs where it's a toilet and then toilet with urinals. That's it. And then they're complying. And everyone can use each other's toilets. And I just have to just laugh at the TERFs who are sitting there going, I don't want men in my toilet. Don't want men in my toilet. Here you go. Here you go, Gladys. You didn't have men in the toilet before. You did have some trans women. Not that you ever saw a trans woman in the toilet, but, I'm sure you had nightmares about it happening one day. And trans women are women. So you never saw men in the toilet. But now you will. Now you absolutely will. You fucking idiot. Gallifreyan men. I don't hate Starmer as such for his party's genocide. I scorn the whole lot of them for it and people who are fine for it to continue so long as their team wins. But I think that most people aren't fine for it to continue, Gallifreyan men. I mean, most of the people who signed this early day motion against the guidance are Labour MPs. So I often say this, like the actual makeup of Labour, most people in Labour are reasonable. They're not raging TERFs. But unfortunately, the people at the top of Labour have been influenced because they've met with these motherfuckers from Sex Matters and the LGB Alliance and all those gobshites. And they've been allowed themselves to be taken in by this transphobic bollocks that has been generated by American think tanks, by the Heritage Foundation, by 55 Tufton Street think tanks, of which the LGB Alliance is one, and which is all paid for by big oil. The weird obsession, someone's going to watch you piss. It just sounds like a confession. Yeah, it does. Burnt out, completely burnt out. I completely disagree with you, Graham, on Burnham taking over. That's fine. That's fair enough. We'll see how it works out, Ivan. I please don't get burnt out about it. Like I'm not, I'm like I say, quite like Keir Starmer as a person. I don't think he's evil. I don't sit here going, Keir Starmer, he fucking did this and he did that and did all these U-turns. I think, he's made some mistakes, and now is the time that he's got to pay for those mistakes that he's made. And he's genuinely made some unforced errors, quite a few unforced errors. And it usually comes down to the fact that he's just not very good at being a politician. Labour comms have been fucking awful, and he's losing us votes. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what a parliamentary party is there for. Anyway, let's get back to Trump and just having a laugh at how shit he is. I was just saying about how the Iranian people might not benefit too much out of this, but the Iranian regime definitely will. But the Trump deal maker, Trump entered this crisis into this war promising dominance, surrender, and this MOU lets Iran keep the nuclear negotiation details unresolved. It's front-loading, the US has front-loaded sanctions waivers and asset access, and Trump's strongest immediate benefit is lower oil market pressure. The optics of, of the signing of this, it's just, did he sign it in Versailles? Did he sign it in Versailles? Because if he did, I'm just going to look at this and go, oh my God, it's such a case of history repeating. Spectacle matters as much as substance. Yeah. And then there's some live angles from this as well. This is not peace through strength. It looks like peace through petrol prices. Trump may have bombed Iran into getting a better financial deal, and Iran's biggest negotiating it's poker chip in this. It's negotiating its biggest sort of leverage that it had over the US, over the world. Wasn't a missile, wasn't a nuclear bomb. It was the Strait of Hormuz. It's geography, my friends. It's the same reason why Brexit will never work. It's geography. We're part of Europe, whether we like it or not. Geography. The nuclear issue has not been solved, and Trump has given Iran the payday before securing the promise not to be naughty in the future. In fact, if anything, he's empowering the Iranian regime to continue on subjugating its own people for another 30, 40, 50 years. I don't know. He wanted to remove enriched uranium, but ended up with enriched Iranians. I love that. I'm going to award the comment of the day to Futum Stuck there, who says he wanted to remove enriched uranium, but ended up with enriched Iranians. That was brilliant. That is so good. We can only point to Labour's comms problem as an excuse for so long, right? And then it starts looking like incompetence. No, it is incompetence. It is, absolutely. Gallifrey Man says, cowardice, evil, it's academic. We're being erased under his watch. I'll show Starmer et al. The same dignity and compassion they showed me. I get that, Gallifrey Man. I absolutely get your attitude towards them, and I understand why exactly you feel that way. I think it's worse than if the Tories did it, because we expected better of Labour. We expected Labour to be there for the little person. Do you know what I mean? And they've gone the absolute opposite way. But it'll all blow up in their face. It'll all blow up in their stupid, gormless faces, because all the people who wanted this to happen, who wanted to try and erase trans people from everyday life, they've just created a problem which didn't exist. The problem did not exist. And they've gone, well, we'll address this by making the current situation worse. So there you go. Anyway, I'm gonna have to wrap up soon, because I think I'm gonna have to go back to bed. Really not well. Not really up for a Barney. I need to recuperate. Need to do some recuperation. But before I do that, let's jump into the papers. Good news if you're an England fan. They won last night against Croatia 4-2. A very exciting match. The last few England matches, international tournaments, have been boring as fuck. So it was really nice to have a match that was kind of exciting and fun, and a lot of things happened. There were 4 goals before half time. It was, shit went down, man. Shit went down. England flags face banned by council. Good. Oxfordshire launches legal battle to stop George's Cross being raised in the street. Good. Fucking ban them, because all they do is bring down house prices, make people feel unwelcome, and look like tatty little fucking rags that half of them, when their Union Jacks are fucking put up upside down. 100 shoplifters behind 4,000 thefts in London. Problem is shoplifting going up in recent years. Burnham rejects Starmer's offer of big role in his cabinet. Ooh. Clarkson, I have aggressive cancer. This is Clarkson talking about having prostate cancer, which is awful, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. MOD shut down our story, says yacht couple. Migrants placed in BBC Question Time. Trump claims total victory with the Iran deal. Now, we just spent the last hour going through why it isn't a victory in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, okay. Iran peace deal lifts sanctions and creates $300 billion building fund. Change is coming, says Burnham. It's snubbed to PM. Mayor rejects job offer as allies seek coronation. Goals galore for England. 4 goals. Really, really impressive. Harry Kane now scored 10 goals in the international competitions at the Euros and the World Cup. And that means that he is now up there with Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker, who scored 10 goals during the 1980s. Yeah, the Aussies have had a good one, and they were in Canada. I think a few might have border trouble ahead. Oh dear. The thing is, you can't stop progression, just make it hurt. So you should embrace it, not fight it. Yeah, exactly. Lost missionary. I mean, the tide of history it just moves towards justice. It moves towards progress. It moves towards things getting better for everyone. And there are a lot of people who don't want it to get better for everyone because it's not good for their bank balances, which are insanely huge. If there are people on here who have contempt and disdain towards me because I support Starmer, tell me now. I'm sick of feeling like this the same way I feel about my dissenting views on Brexit. No one has contempt or disdain towards you about anything, mate. We talk about politics. It's a politics channel. Well, I'm trying to move it away from politics for this exact reason. But yeah, no one in this chat or me or any of the people that I have on these shows agree on everything. You know? I just suffer with rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Okay. It's nothing against you, mate. It's nothing against you. And obviously I started this channel. Well, I started this channel 20 years ago. That's how old I am. 20 years ago, I started this channel. But I was using it for travel stuff I was using it for short films and that until it started traveling, and I used it for travel stuff. And then in 2016, I made it an anti-Brexit channel, and that's how this started. The whole politics thing started on here. So yeah, don't feel like we're dissing you, mate. We're not. Yeah, this chat room is a big hug for you, says Lost Missionary. So remember that's what it is, and Ivan, look after yourself. I know it's painful, says Diz. Yeah. No, I get it, mate. I get it. And Lost Missionary says you're okay. No one here's going to hate you. You do you. Yeah. I would like to echo that sentiment. Let's go back to the papers. Yacht couple accused MOD of taking Russia's side. What the fuck? D-Day 4 p.m. as make or break a field. Voters shape the future of the United Kingdom. That's mad, isn't it? We might vote for a racist plumber. Radio 4 bears brunt of BBC cuts amid fears of more to come. They've ripped the heart out of it, said the staffer. World Cup kicks off for England. The secret operations to trail Putin's Putin's warship. The what Europe's 40-degree heat dome means for yet another UK heat wave. So we're going to get another heat dome over the weekend, and the famous Robin Hood oak, the very old 1,000-year-old oak tree, has in Nottinghamshire has died. It's died. There's news about that today, and it's died because of global warming, because of an increase of very, very, very hot summers, and it just put too much what's it called? Too much strain on the old tree, and it failed to produce any new leaves this spring. So it's the major oak, 1,200 years old, and now it's dead because of climate change, which some people are paid to say isn't real. Can you believe that? Some people are paid to say it's not real. 20 years, Graham. You're a sucker for punishment. Seriously though, big thank you for doing it, says the Lost Missionary. Yeah. Why is everyone vaguely dramatic D-Day? Vaguely D-Day in the papers, not beating the Brits, obsessed with the war allegations. Brits are obsessed with the fucking war. Do you know what? I hate to say this, right? But the obsession with the war is fucking so detrimental to this country, to the progress of this country. They have a few £1,000s to spend on a village here in Durham, and they go, what should we do with this £2,000? Should we put it towards starting off building some kind of youth camp, youth centre, youth thing for the kids to, get together and meet up in real life so they're off the screens? Or, you know, should we do some training for people? No. Do you know what we need? Do you know what this village needs? Another war memorial. Oh, it's all right, mate. We've already got 7. No, we need another war memorial. Okay. Do you not care about the people? Did you not care about the people who died over 100 years ago in the trenches? Do you not care about them? Well, no. I'm sorry, not anymore. Maybe back when they were still alive, and I'm old enough to be, alive when people who were in the First World War were still alive. But now, they're all fucking dead. No one's going to see it. No one's learnt their fucking lesson. We've seen neo-Nazis march on the streets of the UK. We've seen racist rioters burn down people's fucking houses for being black. The lessons of the war. No? No one remembers that shit. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have any war memorials anywhere. Fine. But go and find a Crimean war memorial. Go on. Go and find one from the fucking Boer War. Go on. Off you pop. Find a Boer War memorial. Oh, could you not find one? Oh, okay. I don't know why we need 7 fucking memorials in our village to the fucking First World War. If we've got some money, can we get some nice stuff here? Can we get a youth centre? Can we get a cafe? Can we get a nice pub? Can we get somewhere where people can go? Can we have a third space where the people here can go? Maybe like a kind of sure start centre? That'd be nice. But no. And the other thing they're obsessed with around here is the coal mines. And as an outsider, I guess, even though I've lived here for 7 years, I just walk around and all of the villages around here have got some kind of fucking daffy memorial to the coal mine. The coal mining was a shit job. You went down a hole and you dug in the hole. You dig in a hole. That's it. Underground. It's fucking horrible. People died. People died at the age of 37 from black lung all the fucking time, right? And we've got memorials to the mines all over this place. All over. And they're shit. They're really shit. There's a village near us. And they got one of those, is it a Tilly lamp or a Davy lamp? I don't know, whatever it is. But you know the old miner's lamp that they used to have? Yeah, right? They've got a giant 8-foot replica. A giant 8-foot replica of a Davy lamp. What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to feel? What am I supposed to think? What is the fucking point? I don't understand. Someone explain it to me. Because someone had to pay for that. I'm assuming it was us, out of our council tax or something. I'm like, can you stop making this shit? No, I have no problem with the council funding artwork and funding young artists to create stuff. Do a mural or do a sculpture or something like that. But every village around here, they've got a coal cart. Like on a track. Like from Indiana Jones. It's full of fake coal. There's a village near me, and I shit you not, they have a 10-foot tall sculpture of a piece of coal. Of a piece of fucking... Someone paid for that. Someone commissioned that. A giant piece of coal. I mean, what the fucking fuck are we doing? Like, seriously. Does no one pull them aside and go, what the fuck is this obsession? The war and fucking coal mines. I was like, okay, yeah, they were a thing. Yeah, but think about the coal mines, eh? Okay. What do you want me to do now? In the middle of Durham, you got a massive statue of a guy on a fucking horse with a big feather in his fucking hat. He was responsible for owning all the mines around here. He was a Tory MP. And he argued in the House of Commons that his 8-year-old kid should be working down his fucking mines. He put British children to labour. And they fucking died in their thousands thanks to this guy. Big massive statue of him in the middle. Don't forget the mines. Don't forget the mines. What do they want us to do? They want us to come home and watch fucking Billy Elliot every night or something. Or Brassed Off. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? I understand that there needs to be a little bit of the tip of the hat to the coal mines of Durham. They had the miners' gala, which is great. But it's a bit much. Anyway. SG, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. For the little girls in Minab who will never get any justice. Was that where the school was, where that was bombed by the Americans, leading to the deaths of over 160 little schoolgirls? Fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. Oh, by the way, it's come out that Elon Musk's AI Grok or whatever the fuck it's called was involved in the Iran war. Involved. There's a giant malt shovel in Barton-on-Trent. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm not being funny, but it was a shit job down pit. Yes, it was. I think it's less they missed the mines and more they left behind in terms of identity and purpose in the mines the last time they really felt that. Yeah, I agree with you, Grimfang, but this is not the way to get that identity and purpose back. Did you see the Yanks claim at the time that it was a Iran missile that hit the school? Yes. Whatever happened to that pilot that got rescued? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Will any American be in The Hague over that? I think they fucking should be. Trump, Putin, and the Israeli gobshite will never see justice. What a messed up world. Well, I don't think that Trump will ever see justice. I think he's going to die in office. He's looking very frail. Putin, I could see him going out a window in the next couple of years. Genuinely. I mean, especially if Ukraine keep hammering them like they have been. The slight change in syntax earlier this year from Russian commentators talking about his war, talking about Putin's war rather than our war, was very telling on that front. As for Netanyahu, he is panicking now. He is really fucking panicking. And it's a joy to see because I fucking hate him, right? Because his popularity has gone off a cliff. Because he has promised the Israelis all these things and he's made a bad situation worse. And Israelis are increasingly fucked off with him. And it looks like he will be, fingers crossed, touch wood, out on his ear come the parliamentary elections in Israel later this year. Once he's out of office, those corruption charges that have been on hold for so many years while he's been prime minister, they suddenly come back with the full force of the law. Now, if the opposition get in power in Israel, then that's going to just open the floodgates in it for the corruption, and also there's a chance that they might hand him over to The Hague. They might if they sign back up to the International Criminal Court, hand him over, which will save money for Israel because then they wouldn't have to put him on trial there. Just put him on trial in The Hague. They want a Farage statue put up in Clacton, but no one is prepared to polish a turd. I'm going to go now. So you're feeling rough, Graham, and I hope you soon feel better. Okay, thanks, man. It isn't, but the right is good at playing to people's feelings in ways that appeal to their anger through symbolic gestures. Yeah. How many tributes to the Dockers are there in Liverpool? Not that many, to be honest with you. Nowhere near what it is here in Durham for the mines. But there is. I mean, there's lots of statues in Liverpool. I guess there's war memorials and all that kind of stuff. Definitely. But I don't. In Liverpool, it's I know it's been down at heel for many years, but these days it's quite a wealthy city and it can afford these kind of this kind of shit. Durham's not a wealthy place. I know there's some very, very rich motherfuckers who live here, like Dominic Cummings and his family. Well, Dominic Cummings' family. I think he lives in a castle somewhere in Northumberland. Sorry. Yeah, he's most people around here are not earning so much money. Keep going, G. I'm putting off cleaning up in Carlton. Yeah, well, listen, I'm going to wrap up for 11 o'clock. So, yeah, and then I need to get going. Internet going again. Oh, sorry, Al. That sucks. Storyteller, Costello was taken. Dear Wendy is a great film involving minds. Also, Prometheus by Tony Harrison is a movie everyone should watch. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's just I do feel like there's a definite that'll do feeling And, where the old mines used to be, yeah, put up a plaque. So there used to be a mine here. That's great. Don't mind that. But a giant piece of coal? A giant Davy lamp? I mean, really? I'm going to check that it is called a Davy lamp, by the way, because I don't want to be calling it the wrong thing. Davy. Oh, shit. What the fuck just happened? Oh, pressed F11, didn't I? With your big, fat, splodgy fingers. Davy lamp. Davy lamp, yeah. A safety lamp used in flammable atmospheres. There you go. Designed to prevent explosions in coal mines caused by methane gas. What a great job. Trump surrounded himself with losers and fools so they wouldn't compete with him. Yeah. Well, he burns people out, doesn't he, Trump? They only stay with him for a few years, and then it's like, is it 6 or 7 years? Is it? Is the usual amount of time, and then he just chews them up and spits them out. So yeah, Rawsome, Harry, Jude, and Marcus gave 3 lines the ideal start. Starmer braced for Energy Secretary's resignation next week if PM refuses to make way for Burnham coronation. Miliband set to trigger cabinet coup. He's got to win the election first. We've got Lily Allen here, a show full of catharsis and high camp. One of my mates went to see that. I'll find out what it was like. Farewell, Major Oak. Legendary tree in Sherwood Forest dies aged 1,000 because of climate change. Because of climate change. Radio 4 to lose world tonight in BBC cuts. That's awful. Trump deal with Iran to make big concessions. I've got the Financial Times here. Modi's unlikely friendship with Netanyahu. Why Berkshire Hathaway needs to evolve. Top table. Starmer sits tight at the G7. Warsh era begins at Fed with ditching of bias towards lower borrowing costs. Chair's inaugural meeting. Hawkish shift on tone. Rates held steady. First unanimous votes in a year. Billionaire Gerko loses court battle to end income tax on traders' profits. Billionaire Alex Gerko has lost a long legal battle over the tax treatment of profits made by individual traders. Good. Maloney outflanked on her right by Italy's new Caesar. Giorgia Maloney's roots lie in neo-fascism, but she has softened her tone as Prime Minister, angering some in her Brothers of Italy party. Fuck off. Anyway, we've got the briefing here. Toma, Bravo to lose all of $5 billion Medalia investments. Blackstone-led consortium is to assume control of the struggling software group. Okay, and then we've got tie-up hits rules adoption. Bathbones £839 million merger with rival Investec in 2023 hampered its ability to adopt the industry regulations to protect customers. Nice. China universities gain. EU reaches out to Kremlin. Brussels has over recent weeks contacted the Kremlin to assess the potential for talks to end the Ukraine war. VW demands sealed bids. The German car maker is taking unusual steps of avoiding potential conflict of interest in the sale of its $10 billion Everlance engine unit. Brussels woos Armenia. The EU is preparing emergency trade relief for Armenia to help offset Russian import curbs. US pays to quit wind deals. The White House will pay nearly $800 million to exit 4 offshore wind leases with Power Group in Energy in exchange for fossil fuel and geothermal investments in the US instead. Fucking gobshite. It's trying to accelerate climate change that has killed the tree in Sherwood Forest. Ex-City banker files suit, and a former City executive says she was fired after raising fears over the bank's courting of Donald Trump as a client. There you go, another casualty of Trump's reign of terror. Anyway, we didn't get enough super chats for a confetti today, unfortunately, and it's 11 o'clock now, so I'm going to wrap up because I really need to go. I don't think I'm going to be doing the writing thing this afternoon. I think I'm just going to have to recuperate a little bit in bed. I will be doing a show this evening, so please, if you've liked this, like this show, give us a thumb up. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you could be so kind as to hit the bell notification icon, it'll let you know tonight when we're going to go live. It'll probably be like 9:45 or something like that, and we're going to go right through the night until the election results come in, because this is going to be a big change for the United Kingdom. And Reagan's just gone live. Fantastic. Okay, so if you want to head over to Reagan Elite, that would be awesome. But in the meantime, I'll just say thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.